Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Smart TCG, and today I'm going to be going over some brand new Stellar Crown tournament results, specifically from the Champions League Tokyo. The Champions League Tokyo was a massive tournament held in Japan with almost 5,000 players, and it was the first major tournament with Stellar Crown legal that we have tournament results for. So today we're going to be going over some of the top 16 lists. With that being said, if you enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's hop right into it. So Raging Bolt was the winner of the tournament, taking down Lugia in the finals. Very, very surprising to see Raging Bolt on top here over all of these other incredibly powerful decks, but it definitely makes sense. It's an incredibly aggressive and powerful deck that is able to pretty much achieve its strategy every single game. It does gain access to Briar. That's another, brand new card from Stellar Crown. Some lists have also been playing the Crispin as well, but, Briar definitely feels like a staple in this deck, really helping out against the Charizard matchup. Also very good against those one prize matchups, as well as you can potentially take two prizes on, for example, a Baby Roaring Moon with the Teomaz Ogerpon here. It looks like they did end up playing 3 Night Stretcher instead of Super Odd. I'm a big fan of Night Stretcher because this deck doesn't play a whole lot of ball search, so sometimes you run into situations where you Pokestop away a Pokemon and you need that Pokemon. You have multiple Night Stretchers to be able to get them back. So it does actually boost the consistency a little bit in this deck for sure. Only 1 energy retrieval and 1 superior energy retrieval. Interesting. We see a lot of lists playing 3 energy retrieval, sometimes even 4 energy retrieval, but this list instead just playing 1 and 1 of each. We see also 1 Lost Vacuum, good versus the Gardevoir matchup, good also at removing Bravery Charms as well. Just kind of a net positive card. The card pretty much always has use in the majority of matchups. You get to thin a card out of your deck as well. Sometimes you have like extra cards you don't really need and you don't want to, get like hand disrupted into like one of those cards. So just being able to Lost Vacuum and thin out is quite nice. Other than that, here list is relatively standard. Not really a whole lot else here worth like noting. They do play 3 Pokestop. A lot of the lists are only playing 2 right now, and they also did choose to play the extra Pokemon catcher as well. Some lists play 2, some play 4, but 3 definitely I think makes sense still as well. But yeah, that's the list, the tournament winning deck. Let's head into the second place list here. Looks like we have Lugia. Looks relatively standard. However, they do play counter catcher. That's one thing that I guess is kind of surprising. They did end up choosing to play the counter catcher. 3-3 Lugia, 1 Pheasantipity, 3-2 Shinshino line as well. Nothing particularly too special here. Energy count seems relatively standard. Makes a lot of sense. Lugia getting second place. Still an incredibly powerful deck. We also have Charizard that got 3rd, Reggie Drago that got 4th, and we also have Palkia Noctowl that got 5th. Palkia is a deck that has been around for quite some time. However, Stellar Crown did give it some new tools like the Area Zero, the Glass Trumpet, and more, which make it a very powerful deck. We got the 2-2 Palkia line here, 2 Terrapagos as well, your Terra type to activate Area 0. 2-2 Noctowl line, 2-2 of the B-Barrel line. I really like this. I think that this card is very, very solid in the Palkia variants. Pretty underrated as well. I see a lot of lists not choosing to play the B-Barrel, but I think this card is very, very good. We also have Articuno as well. This is a card that hasn't seen a whole lot of play in quite some time, but with the ability to paralyze, it's actually pretty cool. We got 1 energy switch, 1 glass trumpet as well. One of a lot of different cards like Super Odd, Palpad, Heavy Ball, Canceling Cologne, a switch as well, counter catcher. Definitely a lot of one-ofs. They got Squilvet as well, pairs up nicely with the Bibarels, Industrious Incisors. Definitely makes a lot of sense here. They did decide to play the Irida package as well, aside from something like Professor's Research. Really cool list. A lot of different things going on here. Only 1 fan Rotom. I kind of like 2 just because if you prize 1, it can feel pretty bad. However, you do have the Hisuian Heavy Ball to fix that problem. Overall, I think the list is really cool. Palkia proving itself that it does have the potential to perform in major tournaments. Definitely a big question mark for the deck is, even though it's not doing like great online, does it have like potential to do well in, in like these in real life, tournaments? And clearly it does. So still a good deck, definitely. Happy to see Palkia do well because I think the card is really cool, and I think it's a pretty nice archetype. Next up, we got Raging Bolt here, a little bit different of a list. Looks like they got Iron Bundle. They did opt for Bravery Charm as well, along with a little bit of a thinner Pokemon catcher line. Night Stretcher as well, and Super Odd. Instead of playing just 3 Night Stretcher, they opted for the 1-1 split. 7 Grass instead of 6. That's a little high here, so they have a lot of energies. And we see also 2 energy retrieval. No superior in this list. Most important to note that, as that was, I guess, one of the big differences from the other lists is they did choose to play a superior. 2 Pokestop as well instead of 3, and they did end up playing a Lost Vacuum as well. Definitely very good versus the Gardevoir matchup. Next up, we have Reggie Drago. Looks like Taguto, former world champion in the senior division, ended up playing. Reggie Drago ended up getting top 8s. And then we have a Dragapult and then another Lugia that got top 16 here. Looks like they ended up playing Klefki. That's pretty spicy. Definitely can help out versus things like the Iron Thorns matchup. Can definitely catch people off guard as well. However, the problem is that you shut off your own Luminion, which is not great because sometimes you can break yourself, but that's kind of cool. We see double jamming tower as well. Very good versus, bravery charms, TMs as well. TM Evo getting shut off is very, very nice against things like Gardevoir. Pretty interesting list here. Double Nest Ball as well. I believe we saw the list that ended up getting second, ended up just playing 1 Nest Ball, I believe. So ended up playing an extra ball count there. Next up, we have the Gardevoirs. We have Gardevoir here. Looks like not the turbo variant. They ended up going with Enhanced Hammer over something like Temple of Sinnoh, Unfair Stamp over something like Secret Box, which we've been seeing getting play, or Hyper Aroma. Ended up also going with Mimikyu, helps out in the Reggie Drago matchup, and then 2 of the Devote technical machines there. Definitely a heavy count, really trying to focus on that Charizard matchup, making sure that you beat that matchup. Next up, we have another Gardevoir here. Looks very similar. They ended up opting for Cresselia and Lost Vacuum, only 1 Devo. They got 1 Artisan as well, and the rest of the list here, no Manaphy. That's one thing I think is actually pretty good, cutting Manaphy in this format at the moment. Definitely seems relatively fine to do so. Next up, we have another Lugia here getting 13th place. Shota ended up playing a pretty interesting list here with Klefki, Wellspring as well. And yeah, pretty standard list here. Nothing super out of the ordinary. There's a Carmine in here as well. What card is this that got played? It's Duskball. Is this card legal? Is this a glitch or is this card legal? Interesting. Well, anyways, wait, let me check this quickly. Is this card even legal? Duskball. Interesting. All right. Well, either this card's legal in Japan or I didn't even know this card came out. That's weird. Anyways, next up we have Iron Thorns, getting 14th place here. Pretty standard list. Just the regular Thorns list did end up opting for canceling Cologne. 1 Devo as well. Helps out versus those Zard matchups for Crushing Hammer. 3 Catcher. Pretty standard here. Then last we have, of the list that we have available, a Charizard. Looks like they did opt for the Dusknor package, Thornton as well, Night Stretcher, and 2 Super Rods, so heavy recovery there. Unfair Stamp as opposed to Hero's Cape or Prime Catcher. Ended up going with Briar as well, definitely makes sense. And they end up playing a pretty heavy count of energies. 5 Fire, a DTE, and also Mist Energy. I personally prefer 6 Fire energies. I'd rather play a 6th Fire over a double turbo. Definitely makes sense. And yeah, overall, pretty standard Zard list here. Zard still performing very, very well. One of the strongest, if not considered the strongest deck in the format. But those are some of the Champions League results. A major, major tournament that just happened. We have some upcoming tournaments as well. We have Dortmund and also Joinville regionals, which will be happening this weekend. And then we also have other events like the Louisville regional championships, which will be happening in a couple of weeks. So the question you might be asking is this tournament going to have an effect on things? And I think, yes, I think that players, especially the top players who are, really trying to keep up with the metagame, are going to, kind of look at this event and say, okay, this is an event with almost 5,000 players. There is, something here, right? There is a reason why Bolt, saw success. Bolt definitely is a solid deck. However, it's a deck that really doesn't win a whole lot of major tournaments. It's a deck that kind of is always there, but seems to fall short to a deck that might just be a little bit more universally well-rounded, because this deck is pretty linear. So Bolt's a deck that just hasn't really been winning a whole lot of major tournaments. So seeing the deck see success here is definitely a big sign that Bolt is, here to stay, and also the addition of Briar has a ton of potential moving forward. So Bolt's definitely the big winner here, as there were multiple in top cut. Gardevoir still showing it's still a very powerful deck. Gardevoir still going to do well. I think if decks like Reggie Drago kind of start to fall off a little bit, Lugia as well, definitely no surprise to see that too. And then Palkia, good sign for Palkia believers because a lot of people aren't super fond of this deck. They think it's relatively weak, but I think Palkia has potential. The Noctowl engine is just so powerful that I think if someone is able to kind of unlock the full potential of this deck, it's going to go really far. But anyways, that's going to do it for me today. The link will be in the description as well for the standings and the deck lists. If you want to go check that out, the link will be there. But anyways, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the tournament as well in the comments if you want. And this is Smart TCG, and I'll speak with you guys again soon. Peace out.